Okay, welcome to Unit 3 on strings. We're talking about the string class, and with the string class it comes through java.lang package, and remember java.lang is automatically imported, so we don't have to go ahead and import anything to use the string class. So I already have a program here pre-created. Here we have string. Now this is the blueprint. If you think about building a house, houses have blueprints, and for every house I built off that blueprint, they look exactly alike. Okay. S1 is called the object. It's the house built from the blueprint. Okay. Same way here with S2. S2 is the house of this blueprint string. Okay, it's the object. Same way with S3 here. It's also the house of this string, or the object. Okay, remember the string is just like a template or a blueprint, and every time we create an object of string, all the characteristics in that object comes from string. So let's take a look. I did something in a Word for you. So here's the string class. Okay, up here at the top. And here are some of the methods. There's many more methods in string class, but these are just some of them. Okay. So if I build an object of string class, let's say string S1 equals Bob, what that does is it creates an object S1. S1 actually holds the address of the object. Okay, and notice it has the same methods as the string class. Now methods are basically small programs, okay, and you call those methods, those programs, and they run and they do something to the code and usually returns some type of value or data back to the point of call. And we gain access to these methods by what we call the dot operator. It's just a simple period, and usually you go to the object's name, dot, and which one of these programs you want to run. Okay, and we'll discuss more about that a little bit later. Okay, so let's go back to the code. Here we created S1 equals Bob. That's one way to create a string. Now S1 is the object and Bob is the literal string. Okay, here we created S2 equals new string Bob. We use what we call the new operator to create a whole new object. Okay, and what that does is actually, if we go back here, it creates a whole new object. Both have a name, an array name of Bob, but they're two different objects. Okay, if I did something like this, S3 equals S2, what that does is now S3 put S3 here. S3 now points to what S2 points at. They both point to the exact same object. Okay, simply by going S3 equals S2. Now let's get into what we call immutability. Okay, immutability is special with Java because if I make any changes to S3, it does not affect S2, or vice versa. If I make any changes to S2, it does not affect S3, even though they are pointing to the same object. What Java will do is actually create a whole new object. So if I make a change to S3, let's go back here and let's say, no, S3 equals S2. Remember, and S2 was Bob. I could go something like this, S3 equals Kim. And what happens there is S3 will break its link to this object, and let's see if I got up. Let's see if this works over here. So S3 now points to its own object called Kim. Okay. And notice it did not affect S2. In some languages, if I make changes to S3, it will also affect S2. But in Java, Java strings are immutable, meaning they can't be changed. Once you create them, you can't change them. You could change what they point to, but it has no effect if it points to the same object. Okay, so S3 created its whole new object. It didn't even affect S2. S2 is still pointing to Bob. Okay, that's called immutable. Strings being immutable. Okay. Okay, now we have methods inside of these objects, and I could do something like this. Again, don't use single letters and like S1, S2, S3 for strings. Get in a good habit of using unique names that describe the memory location and what they actually hold. I only do this temporarily because it's easy to type and I don't have to spend wasting my time typing a lot to teach this lesson. So let's say I have x. X is an integer, and I go equal S1 dot operator length. And what that does, it calls the length method of S1. Okay, so it runs this method here. Okay, and this method is a program, and this program will run, and if I'm not mistaken, I've probably misspelled it. I did. Okay, it'll call that method. That method will run, that program runs, and it'll calculate how many letters are in S1. Now Bob is easy because it's only 3, and just to prove that, let's do a system dot out dot println x. Okay, and let's go ahead and build our file. Its process is complete, no errors, and run file. And notice we get x equals 3. So length copies how many letters are in Bob. Okay, in the string that it's of the object. And again, we use the dot operator. Okay, so we learned about the new operator. This creates a whole new string of Bob. Okay, so it won't be pointing to the same one. Okay, if I would have just S2 equals Bob, then S1 and S2 will both be pointing to the same object. By doing the new operator, it creates its own object. Okay, and these two will have different addresses. Whereas if I didn't use the new operator and I just put S2 equals Bob, then S1 and S2 holds the address of Bob. Okay, and again, these objects actually holds addresses. Okay, it does not hold the value Bob. It actually holds the address of where you could find Bob. Okay, so let's go back here. S2, S3, they hold addresses. So I cannot go S1 equals S2, even though they're both the Bob. It will say it's false. Okay, equal equal. If I use the equal equal, these are two different addresses. Okay, even though Bob's the same and Bob's the same for this object, using double equals for object is not allowed. Okay, we have to use other methods, and if you notice, there is a method here called equals. Okay, which we'll learn a bit about a little bit later. Okay, we got to use this method to compare strings, because actually S1 is Bob, S2 is Bob, so they are actually equal. Okay. Literal strings are treated just like object as well. So let's do something like this. Let's go y equals, and again, literal strings are in double quotes. They are objects within themselves. So I could go Bob.length, and And again, let's do a system out. And if I put Y, and again, stay away from single letters. Okay, and I build it, make sure there's no errors, there's not, and I go ahead and run it. And I could just run it because it'll build it at the same time. Notice it's 3, 3. 3 for Y, 3 for X. Okay, and notice Bob is treated just like an object, so I go bob.length. Okay, so literal strings are objects as well. Okay. This pretty much wraps up for the first part of strings. There's going to be many videos for this section. I'm going to do it in small parts. But again, we know about the new operator. It creates a whole new separate string other than S1 and S2, so they're pointing to two different ones, two different bobs. Okay. Whereas S3, S2 points to the exact same object. Okay, if I did S2 equals S3, S3 now points to S2. Okay, I set S3 to Kim, and we said strings are immutable. So S3 will go ahead and create a whole new object just for Kim and separate from S2. S2 still points to Bob. It does not change because we changed S3. We talked about length. Length is a small method, a program that counts how many letters are in the string. Okay. Let's see, let's do a little experiment. We have, since we could do this, let's do string. You'll have a little time left. I'll go S4 semicolon. Okay. And if I do, let's change this one, S4.length to X. Okay, now notice I didn't assign it to anything. I created it, but it's not initialized. Let's see what I get for that. Run file. Okay, and I get an error. If you get back here to here, I get an error. S4 might not have been initialized. Okay, because S4 does not have a value. Okay, that's what we call a null string. Okay, if I go double quote, let's see what S4 gets for length. Again, length 4 is X. So I do build. It works, no errors. And notice I get 0. Okay, we call this an empty string. Double quote. It has 0. Okay. Whereas the other way I did it with just S4, it's a null. It does not have a size. It doesn't have a length. That's why we got the error. Okay. So that covers basically declaring strings. Okay, declaring and creating strings. Next lesson we'll get into some of these methods and how they work. Okay, so again, new operator, dot operator. Okay, to gain access to methods. Again, it's always the object dot the method you want. Okay, these are called non-static methods because you need an object to gain access to them. Not like the math class where we just go math.pow, math.square root. Those are static methods. Okay, and we talked about strings being immutable. That wraps up this lesson, and hopefully you got something from it. Again, practice and continue programming. Have a nice night.